Hey, this is Alan Elam again, out here in the Soar Rescue warehouse going over some different kit options. Thanks for joining us for part two. So if you'd like to review part one, we went over some of the individual first aid kits, and now we'll dive into some of the team aid kits, a little bit deeper dive. The first we'll take a look at here is our active shooter kit. We've had a lot of people getting concerned over incidents in the news lately. They're trying to get more prepared, which is a fantastic idea. So this kit was born a few years ago from some of our own staff sitting down, putting their heads together, and trying to determine what's important in an active shooter situation versus what can really get delayed. There's a lot of thought put into this bag, but for very specific reasons. It's kind of one of those if you build it, they will come scenarios. When we've got a bigger mass casualty incident, we want to be very focused with how we're taking care of our patients. Because if we dive in too deep with the first patient, the 10th one that's tucked away in a room down the hallway that needs a tourniquet is still waiting. And so we've got to get through all these patients in this mass casualty scene and then get them kind of brought together into that casualty collection point as quickly as possible. And so we don't want to really delay care getting too focused too early on advanced options. And so this kit is awesome at keeping very focused in what the important parts are. So as we talk about what's important in trauma, we lean back to tactical combat casualty care, or TCCC, if you've heard that term passed out. And so there are three major components in that. The first is massive extremity hemorrhage, second is airway compromise, and the third is tension pneumothorax. That group of three makes what they call the three preventable causes of death in trauma. And so really our focus in the early stages of a mass casualty incident, really on that first one of massive extremity hemorrhage, and getting each patient that needs a tourniquet addressed before we start diving deeper into other options like IVs and all these other fancy things. So as we deploy into a mass casualty situation or an active shooter event, the first thing you'll see on this aid bag here are two tourniquets front and center for you to be able to get easy access to be able to deploy quickly. If you've got a patient that needs it immediately, you can grab one of these right off the front of the kit and deploy that tourniquet. When we dive into the interior of the bag itself, we've got a few more tourniquets on the inside here. And so they're front and center on the inside of the bag to be able to get easy access to. That way we don't have to dig into anything else. Once we pull these out, take a look at what's next in the kit. Another thing that we see a lot of incidents run into problems with when we debrief with folks that have gone through large incidents, when we do training, the patient movement component is a very large operational challenge for people. The very next component you'll see after these tourniquets is a litter for you to be able to move those patients. Now, almost just as important as that is triaging those patients. So you'll see our triage med mag is placed front and center in this kit as well. As we dive into the inside of the bag, we've got these operational pieces easy to reach, easy to get to, for us to start managing the operational concerns of a mass casualty incident. After that, we've got some more treatment options. We talked about massive extremity hemorrhage being important, but if somebody needs a bandage maybe instead of just a tourniquet, we've got some bandages here that are in the pouch right up front. We've got 4 of those to be able to take care of multiple injuries. Airway compromise is another concern, so we've got those here as well, along with throwing some chest seals on different patients. We've got 2 twin packs, so you'll have 4 chest seals overall to take care of multiple patients, and those are all tucked nice and neatly in their own little pouch. So that's our active shooter bag. We also have this with our MedMag version for us to be able to take these different individual kits of the MedMag series and plug them in for some similar components. And operationally, now we can deploy those out a little bit differently if we need to hand off a kit, a smaller kit that's got all the components for somebody to take care of a hemorrhage or to take care of an airway problem. Those kits are all self-contained inside this larger bag. Next, we'll go through our team aid bag. And again, as we start to deploy out into a larger scene, this is going to be something that maybe comes into the casualty collection point, or if we deploy out as a SWAT medic or something in that fashion, we can use this bag to add a couple individual components that we might need from our agency or from our department to be able to personalize this bag just a little bit. Plenty of extra space in here to do that. Let's go through the bag itself. On the outside, you'll see we've got 2 components here. We usually put these in similar colors. These are just different for us to be able to see them a little bit easier in the video here today, but easy to get to. On the outside are 2 tourniquets in holsters here, 1 on each side for us to deploy those pretty quickly as we roll into a scene. On top of that, we'll see the very lid of this has a few components. If we need to get into some patient management for some smaller injuries, potentially, we've got some bandaging supplies here, some gauze for wound packing. That all lives nice and neat up in the lid here. Once we open up the bag itself and dive a little bit deeper into it, see on the lid, we've got shears for us to be able to get access to a patient's injuries. We've got a Sharpie if we need to take some notes. We've also got a variety of gloves here for us to be able to take care of ourselves and stay healthy. As we dive into the bag on this side, we've got a couple more tourniquets because we also follow under the similar mantra of 2 is 1, 1 is none. So we like to add multiple into most of our kits. A little bit lower on this side, we've got BurnTech dressings. So if you've got patients that have maybe a little bit more specific type of injuries, we can take care of those. And then we've got our pill box here on this side. We're very focused on the Team Aid. If you come and take one of our longer courses, we discuss Team Aid as a very serious component of the course because we've got to take care of guys if they have GI issues just as intently or just as specifically as taking care of somebody that needs a tourniquet. And again, operationally, if you've got somebody with a massive GI problem, that person is just as operational as someone that's been shot in the arm and needs a tourniquet. So we as the team medic need to be able to take care of a wide variety of things. And this kit gives you the option to take care of those things that maybe aren't quite as crazy as needing something super severe like a tourniquet, but are just as important. In the kit, we've got items like ibuprofen, we've got items like Pepto-Bismol, loperamide, meclizine, some things to be able to take care of a wide variety of ailments. But as you know, as the team medic, guys are going to come to you and say, hey, doc, my back is hurting today. You've got some Tylenol, I need some. And you'll be able to break into your kit and say, yeah, I got you covered. So it's a fantastic option for you to be able to take care of a wide variety of medical issues, while the remainder of the bag really gets focused in on the trauma side. You see on one side, we've got some options for ortho injuries if we run into those problems. So we've got 2 SAM splints here. We've got some med mags in the center for us to deploy out. So we've got the hybrid IFAK med mags. So these have a bandage, gauze, or hemostatic, depending on if it's the advanced or basic version. We've got a nasopharyngeal airway. We've got a pair of gloves, and then we've also got a chest seal. So those both live here in the middle of the pack. We've got a triage med mag. So again, if this kit gets deployed into the center of a casualty collection point, or if we roll into a mass casualty incident, we've got some triage options here as well. And then now when we look at the very center of the bag up top here, we've got a litter for us to be able to move our patient. Opportunities for us to be able to add in a couple extra components. So if you've got IV therapy that you're able to get access to for your department, we've got space to add that here. If you need some different pouch options, we can work with you on that. Just shoot us an email at info@sorescue.com. So thanks for joining us again for this quick overview of some of our larger aid bags. Hope you enjoyed it. Come check them out on the website at shop.sorescue.com. Feel free to shoot us an email at info@sorescue.com.